some of the interviews he said, his goal is to get to a 3, right? So kind of halfway there, let's say. What do you think needs to happen to move from 1.6 to 3? Obviously in the future.
Well, we actually just greenlit. I hinted at it a couple of minutes ago, but we greenlit our first 2 original programs, and they're not going to be that expensive. We're talking about $5,000 US per half-hour show. Just to put that in context, it would cost $500,000 in the United States to do, a half-decent half-hour show. And at the very high end, when you get into the Game of Thrones kind of stuff, these are $8 million per 1-hour episode. So $5,000, don't expect much from a production quality. There's not, cars falling from rooftops and stuff like that. But you can create some pretty cool prank shows and some dating shows and some things that really have the potential to go viral. But we're doubling down on recognizing and believing that finding the gems in content that will appeal to this audience and bolstering it in this example with a couple of programs that we plan on launching ourselves. This is the path to get us even more viewership. What we have today, to be clear, is absolutely monetizable in a way that can create real value for shareholders. We felt that once you got to 1 gross rating point, you're in business. At 2, you're in real business. At 3, you're in fantastic shape. 1.64, and just to be clear, Jason, it can pull back before it goes forward again. I mean, it's quite possible we could be back at 1 or 1.2, and I'm not forecasting that. I'm just saying we've had a rapid rise. Wouldn't shock us if we pulled back a little bit, built a base, and then reestablish some positive momentum. 1 step back, 2 step forward type of thing. But the key is that this ratings increase is a leading indicator with respect to what we should be able to accomplish with advertisers and brands that want to use our influencer marketing capability in India. And we're going to drive that revenue with our first goal being really, really laser focused, and that is to get to cash break even, which we hope to achieve by mid next year. That's not that far away. That's 8 months away, and you get to cash break even, and everything changes in the game. As you and many of the people are watching. And I know firsthand, having lived in the microcap world, that getting to cash break even is a different ball of wax in terms of your flexibility, sleeping at night, minimal dilution thereafter to shareholders, et cetera, et cetera.
Great goals, and I'm sure you'll be hopping on more videos as we go forward, and you can give updates as we go. But one thing you touch on, kind of cash flow break even. Hey, the QYOU books almost $1 million worth of business for the influencer marketing. Do you want to talk about that? Obviously, that press release came out, about a week ago. Kurt was extremely excited. Do you want to talk about that side of the business? I know we talk about the channel a lot, but haven't really got your insight or your views on the influencer side of things.
Well, sure. Just to remind or educate those that are taking a look at the company, there's 2 businesses in QYOU. One is Los Angeles based, and which is an influencer marketing business, which you just mentioned. The other one is what we've been talking about, QYOU India. The enormous torque, like the aspiration of having a business that's worth 200, 300, 400, maybe even $1 billion in the next 5 years. And I don't mean that to sound promotional. Obviously it does. A lot of heavy lifting would be required to make that happen. A little bit of luck, no doubt, as well, which never hurts. But it is achievable if we execute and we get a little bit of luck. And that's what we're hoping to achieve. I mean, we're not really motivated by money per se. We are proud of the fact that we've launched a brand new channel that's become quite popular. We want it to be more popular, and we want to monetize the heck out of it and do a great job for brands at reaching their audiences and having those audiences be associated with great brands. That's QYOU India. And it's got all the torque and all the leverage and all the ability for an investor who says, I get the macro environment in India. It's pretty powerful, led by one simple macro theme. There's just one. We've said it before, Jason. I'll say it again. Every month, 8 million people come out of poverty, and the first thing they do is buy a cell phone and a TV subscription every month. So that's the big macro trend driving all the big FANG stocks, the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Netflix and the Google into the country. And we are right part of that macro trend, and frankly represent a really cool investment opportunity, how you can play our little microcap company with a nothing market cap and get this pure torque related to that opportunity and outcome versus buying Amazon, in which I don't even know what the percentage is. So I'm making it up when I say that 5% of their business is India. But in other words, there's going to be huge growth in India for these companies, but it's going to be only a small part of their business. We also have a business in Los Angeles. And when we call it influencer marketing, it's a big word. And what does that mean? It's a very simple concept. What we do is we build influencer marketing campaigns primarily for movie studios in connection historically with their theatrical releases of movies. So let's take World Trolls, Universal Films. Universal's owned by Comcast. They were launching earlier this year a movie called World Trolls 2. If you got young kids like I do, they saw the first one, they wanted to see the second one. And Universal came to us and hired us. These contracts can range from kind of $100,000 at the low end to about $500,000 typically. As you may know, most movies are launched and they will spend, they call it P&A. It stands for prints and ads from the old days. But really, it's everything from online marketing to billboards to signs and bus stops and TV ads when they launch a movie. And, you know, it's kind of a 20 million on the low end for call it a lower budget movie to north of 100 million if it's one of the big tentpole, you know, action Marvel flicks or something of those natures that are spent. And so we want and try to get and successfully been able to get a little slice of that pie by saying we will run an influencer marketing campaign. We'll find the influencers that want to watch your content, want to promote that movie being launched, and we'll approach them and we'll work out a theme on how they can work it into their digital networks and their, you know, kind of whether it's a daily or weekly, their own video content that they're producing, promoting the theatrical releases of those movies. We won an award a couple of years ago as really the best operation of its kind in Los Angeles. Last year, I'm talking calendar now, 2019, we did just under 3 million US in that business. We thought we'd do about 5 million this year. And then when COVID hit, the theaters were closed and that business went to zero. Literally went to zero for 6 or 7 months. We have a fantastic team led by Glenn Ginsburg, who's just a superstar executive. And he didn't sit on his hands for very long. And he pivoted and said to the studios, hey guys, you're going to probably want to launch some of these movies direct to video. They call it premium video on demand. And World Trolls was one of the first ones. I watched it with my wife and 2 kids. We paid our $29.95. You only got it for one night. That's what premium video is. Instead of being at the theater, it's like you're at the theater. So this isn't like renting a movie for $6 or, you know, even buying a movie for $19.99. This is $29.99, opens up on a particular day, and they're hoping to, you know, have many of the people who would have gone to the theater attend and buy that in their home theater or watching on TV at home. They didn't release the exact stats, but it was widely reported to be very successful for them. We know that our stats played a role in that success because what happened was they came back and said, hey guys, why don't we switch the mandate to promoting the opening in the premium video on demand window as opposed to the theaters. And this is what Glenn and his team have done a great job at. And so we went dry and dark for 6 months. It was a pretty scary time. But we've had some of the theaters are reopening, which is great, but more of these movies are starting to be launched in the premium video window, meaning instead of the theater. And what we announced was, hey, we wanted the world to know this business has made a pretty sharp recovery just in September and October. We booked $700,000 US, you'd said about a million Canadian, of new business, none of which is for theatrically open movies, all of which is associated with premium video on demand, generally speaking, from that perspective. So, you know, there's a business that theaters get back open and we would say, and I don't know how long that's going to happen or whether it's 2 months or 6 months and hopefully somewhere in between, but there's no reason why that business isn't doing, you know, 5 million in the first year and 10 million the next year and is worth, you know, many times our current stock price. We see great potential in that business and it's exciting, and everybody knows influencer marketing is here to stay for a long period of time. It doesn't have the torque that QYOU India has, in the sense that QYOU India can skyrocket, Jason, if we continue to get kind of viewership increases and monetize it properly. So we're in good shape. We've got a good, stable business, and then we've got this business that's got this enormous potential.